Like, I hear, like, that soft hum, kind of.
Yeah, that is going on. You do hear that. Okay, go ahead and talk like you were in your normal speech of voice.
Yeah, so we're going to be live tweeting American Horror Story Apocalypse tonight.
Yes, looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
Sorry.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Alright, hold on. Okay. Welcome back to House of Blurs Presents. There will be spoilers. This is episode 2 for us. Welcome back. It's myself and Armonee here.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for asking. This week we are going to we've been trying to figure out how we want to kind of format this so we're not spending like an hour talking about essentially one show, and we spread it out because we watch a lot of stuff. So if you're listening to this and you know the title is There Will Be Spoilers, we're going to assume that you've watched the show. So we're just going to do this in like quick time and talk about our thoughts essentially on and recap where we're at on the shows that we are discussing. So first up, we are on the Mayans. This week, we will be kind of just going over our thoughts and feelings about episodes 4 through 7. At this point, let's see. We've got Emily trying to help out Miguel, figure out a way to make himself look better in the eyes of the people.
The people, so that, yeah, you know, your kid stops getting kidnapped every other week.
Yeah, and you get them back. We learned that Coco has a kid.
Yes.
First off, that situation right there was kind of crazy. Just because it's bad enough when you thought that it was his sister that his mom had put on to prostitution, but then you learn, no, that was her grandchild. And essentially, it's Coco's kid.
Yeah, especially for the fact that Coco wanted to give her up. So it's like that makes the situation even worse. Like she kept his daughter around just for that.
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. And then the way it came out, like, cause she like yelled it at her after they got into an argument at that restaurant.
Mm-hmm. An argument over nothing too.
I mean, they were giving her shit, but I mean, it was shit that was well deserved. I mean, she's not really gonna win any Grandma of the Year awards. That's for fucking sure. So, we got that going on with Coco, who they're giving him, I like that we're getting good,
sentimental sides to these characters.
Yeah, and I mean, in your, what you may want to consider, like, your smaller characters are getting, because I mean, like, the main story revolves around Easy and Angel, for the most part, and what, like, they got going on, and more so Easy than anybody, but, we're getting more, because with Sons, we got a lot of story about all the members of the MC. I feel like there's still members that we really don't know much about, and I hope that we get like some more on other people as well, like as this goes on and progresses.
At this point in the show, though, I feel like Easy's kind of becoming a secondary character in the show. Because these last few episodes, like, he's been there, but he's kind of been that guy that's like, okay, let me come in and help out after this stuff's already happened.
I mean, he's a prospect. His job is to clean shit up.
True.
So down with the rebels, we got the little spy, who we knew was a little spy because we discovered that at the end of last episode when he showed that he had that scar on his hand. So it's really like, okay, how deep is this gonna go? Like, that was the thing at that moment. It's like, all right, they're kind of fucked. Yeah. This is good. This is gonna suck for Adelita and her cause down there. Episode 5 was called Possum. And there was no shortage of possums in that episode.
Yeah, cute little animatronic possums walking around everywhere.
Yeah. And I think that's when we realized, like, the titles. That's when we realized
they actually correlate in something.
Basically, because you had that scorpion in one, and then I think one of the other ones was called, it had the owl in it. So, yeah, we just realized that on episode 5. So, because that little possum, you're just like, what the fuck? Come on. I mean, the scorpion seemed obviously strategically placed too, but you're like, okay. The possum was just like, all right, buddy, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing here, little guy? Go away.
Was this last episode called Rat?
Yes.
Okay.
It was. Yes, it was. So they kind of hashed out their plan to go down to Mexico and make themselves like
look
better. And they, were going to this little festival at church. And the idea was to get the people onto the sides of the cartel. Now, how in the fuck did they really think that was gonna happen?
I don't understand how she thought that was gonna work. For the fact people already knew, they were saying that the cartel was donating already to the church, like they had been donating. So why did they think that this was gonna be any different?
And it's like you showing up one day and passing out flyers and hugging babies is not going to undo the decades of fucking torture and pain that this family, because we then did realize that when Felipe was working for the cartel, when he was a hitman, because it was revealed that Felipe and his best friend, they worked for the cartel. That it was the Galindo family. So it wasn't a different cartel family. It was the same one. So the same family has been inflicting chaos and pain on people for decades. You think fucking showing up one day?
And it's like, why would they want your blood money to be contributed into their cities?
I mean, hard times. They'll probably take it. But it's just like, come on, dog. We're not about to just... That to me, it was like, okay, she's trying to do something. I get it. She feels like she needs to do something to help to get her son back. But I don't know if that was it, sis. Like, that just...
It's one of those, like, unauthentic acts. Like, when you have, like, those, like, rallies where it's, like, the president kissing babies and stuff like that. And it's like, it's for show.
Yeah.
And people know it's for show.
For real. But on this episode, we get to see that the crazy white guy who, when they found the mule moving the drugs in the desert, and they found him dead, and those crazy white people,
the Black Ops people.
Well, that family first, the crazy family, who clearly had no qualms with shooting anybody of brown skin in the damn desert that they saw. Like, they were just, that's probably like a fun thing to them to do. But yeah, they didn't have any issues with that at all. And then the guy who was helping them, at first, like, I thought he was going to be like some, like I said, some neo-Nazi kind of white supremacist dude kind of contributing to this. But then it turns out that no, it's not really the case. He's like some ex-operative.
Yeah, and he's actually a pretty good guy. We come to find out after they help out. Okay, good guy, relatively guy.
Relatively speaking, you didn't cut the lady's head off. I mean, they weren't a nice family. So I mean, yeah. I guess karma's a bitch.
But it's like, we find out he kind of does have a heart after they save the Muslim family, and it's like he was trying to get them back home to where they needed to.
Yeah. So that was a nice little shift there, and I appreciate and I like the way we took someone who, at face value, we assumed he was some neo-Nazi, some crazy skinhead, but that wasn't the case. He just had some really interesting tactics.
Yeah, he is really different way of going about things. Yeah, he has alternative methods.
Yeah, so that was interesting. We see Angel just like, okay, because then at the end of the episode, that's when Adelita. No, during that episode, not the end of the episode, but at the end of this situation, when Adelita has to ride in there with her little mice, yeah, and get him out of there. That shit was, very, very well played out. Because she rolled up in there. Because he said he wanted money. And they showed back up there with drugs. And they were like, this is going to be your payment. Now we're going to walk away. And by that time, the little rat kid had sent that photo of Adelita with the nun and the baby to the Galindos. So they had a picture of her now. So now they know what they look like. And they put that picture out because they sent it to the Mayans. They have a picture of it. So the picture is out circulating. They know what they're looking for.
I think they'd send it to, like, all the local mercenaries, too.
Yeah. Basically. So these dudes were like, yeah, no, we see your picture. So you're going to stay here. The drugs are going to stay here. Everyone else can go. And she's like, that's just very calmly, very nicely. Was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea at all. And yeah, then old boy paid for it. Like, cause then they just started like
murking people.
Yes. And the little whistle and they jumped into action. So, you had previously pointed, I would agree with you had made the comment before that
is one of like the best scenes in the series so far.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That probably is my favorite action scene so far in the show for sure. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, like it was just one of those scenes where it's like it wasn't over the top and it was just so clean cut and precise that it just made you be like, wow. Like it really showed the power, I'd say, that the rebels have.
Yeah, and it's just like, their quick get in, get shit done,
and just be out.
Yeah, yeah. That was the very nice, neat, and tidy with a bow on it. Precision, and she's using kids at that, so it's like to still have that quick precision and execution.
With these little like children mercenaries.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking scary, is what that is. But so. This was also post the failed attempt at the church because they went down there. That shit went to hell because Miguel told Emily he was not going to retaliate. And they did anyway because when everybody was trying to go into church, you got that nun was in there dead and stuff like that. And everybody's running out because they're freaking out. And then Emily gets trampled and her ass ends up in the hospital. Now. That would all be a surprise, but it ain't. But I feel like this was a long way to get to the hospital scene where we've got Emily and Easy, because like Easy, of course, goes to the hospital, check on her. And then Miguel's dude sees him and goes back and tells Miguel. And then he takes Easy out in the middle of the desert. Now, first off, if a black truck rolls up on you on your motorcycle and is like, follow us. And he was like, why should I? He was like, because you're not stupid. And honestly, we start driving to the desert. I'm probably gonna
I'm thinking about my last few words. I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, this is not about to go very well for you. But, they went out to the desert and, Miguel's out there and they had that little chit chat about basically stay the fuck away from my wife. So now we finally have, that face-to-face conversation with Miguel and Easy about Emily.
Yeah. Basically the little competition. A little love, trying to develop some type of little love triangle.
Yeah, that no one really gives a shit about.
I don't really see it going that way. Like, I feel like Emily cares about him clearly, but it's more of like, we have history type thing, but like she's with her husband.
Yeah, I do feel like, and I really hope that this is the case, that Emily is hella loyal to Miguel and that's not going to flip. Like, I would be disappointed. I'd be pissed if she flips. If she flips in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to be angry because I feel like that's just bullshit. Like,
you don't marry a crime boss and then just decide the life's too hard for you.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I'm not going to really, all of this, like my grown-up life for a fucking high school romance. Yeah, like, nah, son, I'm not buying it. Like, she better not. Like,
she ain't got the most money. Like, that drug cartel money or that prospect money.
Which ain't no money. Like, no. You're an errand boy. Even if you made your way up in the ranks in the embassy, I'm not giving up Miguel for Easy. Like, it's just, that just wouldn't happen. So, I mean, now if it was Angel on the other hand, I'm risking it all for Angel. But yeah, I didn't think that. So, in the backdrop of all this episode in particular, so with Coco and his daughter, so since the picture of Adelita was circulating around and Bishop seen it, and he showed it to, I forget the other dude, his right hand man? Yeah, his VP. I'm going to assume he's the VP because he's just always up his ass. But so Bishop was like, they're looking at this picture, and of course everybody's acting all squirrely, running around. And at this point, you got Easy trying to contact Coco because he needs help to get Angel, and so at this point, it's like during the argument with Coco and his daughter and his mom, and Chucky sees it. And then Chucky says, oh, yeah, I saw Easy with this young female.
Coco.
Yeah, I seen Coco with this young female. To me, the picture of Adelita, like, I wouldn't even have said...
young.
Yeah, like, that was, to me, wouldn't, like, because...
compared to the age range of his daughter, and her, it's clearly a very, like... his daughter is young.
Yeah, like, Adelita's picture is a grown-ass woman. Like, even though she's still young, I mean, she's not like in her 80s, but she's grown.
Yeah,
whereas Leticia is clearly a young woman. Like, she's a young...
She looks like she's like 16, to be honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's 17. So, I mean, she's clearly, young.
And they look nothing alike. Like, I feel like they're playing on Chucky's whiteness at this point.
Yeah.
They all look the same. I don't know.
Because I'm like, nah, son. And their hair length is completely different.
They're they're two different shades of brown.
Yeah. Nah. Adelida's pretty tan. Leticia, not so much. I mean, she got that SoCal tan, but Adelida's got that, like, I've been in Mexico.
I've been in the desert.
Like, yeah, like, I'm in the sun. Like, so that to me was a bit of a stretch with this whole situation. I just hate, honestly, I didn't like this whole fucking little micro storyline. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it with the whole them thinking Coco's the one meeting up with Adelita because Alvarez is like, you guys got a mole and who the fuck is it? And
I feel like it was unnecessary at this point because they didn't go anywhere with it. Like, there wasn't like, oh, okay, they accidentally take out Coco because they think he's lying, or they even confront Coco. It was like, okay, we think Coco's the mole, and then they're like, okay, now we know he's not the mole, and that was just it. It was pointless to me.
Yeah, and it was wrapped up pretty quickly because obviously, Easy tells Angel that Adelita's name's being thrown around because he overhears Bishop asking Chucky about it a second time. And at this point, like, if you tell Angel, like, the fact that Angel didn't tell them, all right, well, we should just tell them that Coco has a kid. Like, Coco, you need to say something. Like, you need to say something because it's unnecessary heat, legitimately unnecessary heat being brought to the MC. But the fact that we decided to act like a bunch of little girls and just continue to, like, just piss poor communication within the MC. And then Angel's answer is to throw the heat off of them.
And throw it on the Riz.
Yeah. And it's just like, dog, first off, if maybe he was, I'd like to say maybe he was actually making the assumption that something shady was going on with this little tunnel that they found that went from the desert to, the little whorehouse or whatever that they got going on. But, like, if you thought something that shady, like, you was really about to have one of your brothers killed. Like, possibly, like, killed.
For nothing. Just to throw your heat off.
To get the heat off of you. Like, because that would have been some serious shit. And he knows that. So, that to me was kind of meh.
I think that's going to come into conflict. Angel's interest in Adelita and his club, that's definitely going to...
Oh, that's going to clash, for sure. At some point, that's going to come to a head. And then we learn more about Felipe's backstory, that with him having been in the cartel, because his nephew, who brokered Easy's deal, tried to tell him Easy needs to do this, that, and other, and try and get Emily to turn. And Felipe's like, first off, nah, it's not happening. And if you threaten my kid again, I'm gonna
show you what I'm known for.
Yeah, and then shows him all the pictures of the people he chopped up, which I think is just crazy. That's some serious ass guilt there. The fact that you would keep these pictures as a reminder of the shit that you did. Like, this how Dexter got caught.
Yeah, the slides.
Yeah, like Felipe, why are you keeping these pictures? Like,
well, it's because, like, he showed them because his nephew came to him and was like, so Felipe Reyes does not exist. Basically, no, Felipe Reyes has been dead for some years. This is a stolen security card, so we're gonna find out who you really are.
Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah, because that's what he came to him with. He was like, you're gonna help me because I know that you're not really Felipe Reyes. That's not really your name.
Oh, okay.
So then he was like, okay, I'm gonna show you who I really am then. And why I have a fake name.
So when you ask questions you probably don't really want the answer to.
Yeah, and that's why he showed up on his house or on his porch drunk and was like, look, I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Like,
I'm sorry. Like, okay. So, okay. That makes way more sense now. This must have been like during a bathroom break or something. But, so episode 6, kind of moving into the next episode, the little spy ends up giving the Galindos some coordinates that he finds as to where they are, because, like, they're hanging out in this market because they got some plan. Sends those coordinates to Miguel. At the same time, Miguel gets a phone call saying, hey, you slip us X, like a shit ton of money, we'll give you your kid back. He shoots down to Mexico to get his kid, gets transfer said money, gets said baby. On his way back, gets stopped and detained.
by
the
Border
Fed.
Control.
Yeah, by Border Patrol. Now, this was the La Cucaracha episode, the roach. And there was, well-placed roaches. So, as well. And that was kind of the theme, like Miguel trying to assert himself to make people like, it wasn't just, it was make obviously the inmates, but it was also so the viewers knew, like, he's not just the pretty boy Ivy League dude who picked up the family's mantle. Like, he will
really
fuck somebody
hands.
up. Yeah. He got hands. So, because he choked dude out with his shirt, which I was okay with. I'm like, okay. I mean, I knew you was about it when you was on Law and Order, but.
At first, I thought he straight killed him. I was like, I don't know this helping out for your cause, dude. Like.
Yeah, I was just like,
be killing people in the detention centers.
Yeah, that's not going to get you out quicker. Now you're going to go to real jail. Like, so what? He was being detained there, and which was crazy. And then we also get reintroduced to Detective Link,
from Sons of Anarchy.
Yes,
the one with the little leather jacket that was running the black cops, or not black cops. What is it called?
The stings?
Sting operation.
Yeah. So he's such a weirdo. Like,
wasn't he the one that told Juice? But he was the one that was using Juice as
I feel like he
leverage.
Was he the one who threatened to tell them that
he was black?
Was it him or was it old girl?
Nah, that was old girl.
I don't know. We'll have to revisit that to see which fucked up agent that was that. Exploited Juice's stupidity. Pretty sure if you're watching this and you watch Sons, then do you remember that?
Nah, it was him. It was him because he had brought Juice into that room, and he was like, and Juice saw that he had all that stuff. I remember because he kept calling him Juan Carlos, and I was like, "This is Juice's real name, all right?"
Oh man, poor Juicy. But anyway, so that shit was so fucked up. Like, just thinking back to Sons. Okay, but so yeah. Where the fuck were we just at? Oh yeah, Galindo's being held, and we don't know who he's being held by. Because then, like, this guy finds out he's being held and detained. He's like, well, who the fuck picked him up? Because he's got his own little squad of interagency officers, and
none of them know.
No one knows what's going on. So we also find out at that point that it's Adelita who had his ass detained so that she could, release her grand plan. How do you feel about Adelita's grand plan?
Honestly, I don't see it working out. I feel like that's going to be her downfall, and really, it makes me think whether or not she's just a rebel. Like, if she's just a rebel, or if she has some ties into some other kind of agency, or, undercover something that's trying to bring him down. Because I feel like she has too much power to just be some type of rebel. Like,
just out here recruiting orphans and shit.
Yeah, like the way she set off all 4 of those bombs in his places and was just like, here, watch me blow your money up real quick. There's no way she's just a rebel. Like, it's something deeper than that. But I feel like it's gonna come out she's gonna be stuff by operative agent.
So working for NSA.
Yeah, like how old dude was, Machete, how he was working to bring down the cartel. And he was like working in the cartel, but then he turned out he was an FBI agent. I feel like it's gonna be something like that again. She'd
be like something super deep cover. You know what? Now that you've said that, that thought hadn't really even crossed my mind. But now that you said it, that does totally make sense, because I also don't feel like anyone else in this community that she's built knows what the fuck she's doing, and I don't feel like any of these people who've been affected by the cartel
would be okay. Trying to partner up with them. Yeah,
nah, we're not trying to partner. Like, literally, we just watched them slaughter a dude and his son and then burn their bodies in a square. Like, hell nah, we ain't trying to fucking team up with that. Like, what the fuck?
And they'd be the people enforcing that. That's what she's trying to do too, because she's like,
bless you. Cat just starts having a sneezing attack in the background.
Because she's signing them up to be the muscle. So basically, she's going to put these kids in the position to make other kids Like, okay.
Orphans, yeah, like you
make
create
other kids orphans.
Yeah, like that's just I don't see how that's gonna fly, at all, in any way, shape, or form. So, what the fuck happened with the MC in this episode? Oh, so in this episode as well, we learn that Coco's daughter is batshit crazy.
Yeah, after she gets into the fight with her grandma.
Yeah.
Verbal fight, mind you. And then she goes in the bathroom and starts banging her head on the toilet. And it's like, at that point, you're like, alright, what's she about to do? Because clearly something's going to happen to her grandma. And at first, I thought she was going to kill her herself. I thought she was just about to walk up in there and, like, stab her or something and be like, oh, look, she beat me up.
Yeah, and and then that's how she was going to get off. But no, she goes and she runs back to the MC. And, Easy gets caught up in it. And actually, we skipped over her killing the truck driver. So she out here committing homicides because she had killed the truck driver. She had already did that, and that's how she ended up back at her grandma's because they helped her cover up the fact that she killed the truck driver that she ran off with. That whole Easy running around and almost getting pulled over, like this dude in driving and warrants. Man,
he just needs to stay off the road. He's got the wrong profession.
Yeah, for serious, for a convicted felon, like you be on the road too much, bro. Like you gonna get pulled over.
Honestly, they got the wrong people doing these runs with him. Like,
yeah, because he's clearly going to be a target. Like he's gonna be the easy reason to stop y'all, no matter where y'all at. Like you've got a felon. I don't know. I thought is no one else in the MC a felon? Because I thought felons couldn't like associate with other felons, or I mean, that to me would raise a red flag. Like this dude is a felon. He's out here. How does no one else in the MC see that this is not an issue? Like, I feel like his parole officer would be climbing up everybody's ass.
Nah, I think it's because of the fact that he's, like, because he has that deal. So he doesn't really have a parole officer out there with him.
He knows that. Like, but everybody else don't know that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that the club should be realizing. But he's been hiding it because he did the little thing where it's like he ran up on the cops and was like, because he's like, y'all looking for Easy Rez? And then they were like, yeah. And he's like, okay, that's me. And then he drove off. And the club got mad at him because they were like, what, that's reckless. You're going to get somebody killed.
Yeah. I felt like for Bishop to take that stance and not just give him the pat on the back saying, oh, good job. You should get, like, that was a legit, responsible, like, press thing to do. Like, we see what you did, but at the same time, you could have gotten someone seriously fucking hurt. And you need to chill out with you trying to do too much. You need to sit the fuck still and just ride the bike. Like, just sit still. Ain't nobody asking you to do all this extra stuff. So, you know what? So, how do you feel about Bishop as president of this MC?
I feel like I haven't seen enough of him around to really have a nice opinion on him. But for what I have seen, he's been pretty... I don't know. They play a lot in contrast to the Sons. Because it's like that's really what you have to go on about, like a motorcycle club leader.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't have a very broad range when it comes to club leaders. But it's like, if you would look at like Clay, if someone from Sons would have done something like that, he would have came back and been like, good job. Like, you took one for the team. But Bishop's more like, okay, you are helping the MC, but at the same time, you can't help us if you're in jail or you're dead.
Yeah,
so
or
you need to stop making those choices that are going to put you in that position.
Or you get somebody else killed, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, your models are Clay, Alvarez,
Jax, and old dude from the Niners, I guess.
Yeah, who was running the Niners? I don't remember his name. Yeah, that's about it.
Pope.
Yeah, well, was he running the Niners though? No, he had
basically running the Niners. He was running the dude that was running the Niners.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to go back and see what their president's actual name was. I don't remember. That's that extra skinny dude. Yeah, I don't know how he was in charge anyway. But so, reeling it back in. So really, at this point, Adelita puts up her plan. He's like, all right, I guess I'll think about it or whatever. So, he gets the baby. They go home. We think everything's about to be kind of peaches and cream. And then...
the lights off.
Yeah, and we're like, all right, clearly this ain't the rebels because she just told him, like, we was going to try and, do this deal and be cool and shit like that. So it's like, what the fuck's going on? Come to find out, as everyone's going outside, like Miguel.
And no one's coming back.
Yeah, nobody's coming back, and Emily's just like sitting in the dark with the baby. And she finally goes outside, and you see everybody's hemmed up by the DEA. So like,
yeah, no, that wouldn't have been me. I'd have been like, well, I guess it's bedtime.
I probably would have called 911.
I'm not calling 911 to my drug lord husband's house.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't keep anything illegal on the premises, but like, come on. At some point, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, I'd have just sat there for as long as it took. Like, until they came inside, I'd just been sitting there like, well,
Yeah, no, I'm not. You right. In that lifestyle, nope, I'm going to sit my ass right. You're going to have to come get me. And the fact that she ain't got no weapon, that at that point...
Or they have no type of panic room or anything. Like,
true, they should have a panic room. Like, they should have a panic room in that house. There should definitely be one, for sure. After all this shit happened. Pretty much before all this shit. Like, I don't understand how the Galindos, knowing all the shit they've done, all the shit that family's been through, period. If the mom's story about the son...
getting kidnapped.
Yeah, it's true. They should have a panic room. Because you never know when the fuck somebody about to run up in there. But, so yeah. So everyone gets arrested at the end. We learned more about Adelita's background as well. Because we find out how her parents died. And she, had went to Felipe because she thought he was the one who snitched on her dad and told the Galindos where his family was at. And then we come to find out it wasn't him, it was the priest who helped him, also go into hiding. Is the one who turned on Adelita's family. So, yeah. So then she leaves him alone. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what you about to do next? Like, you going back home? Where did she go? Like,
where is her home base?
Yeah, because, like, now you in Southern California, you just out here in these streets. Like, where did she, I'd like to know where she went. I guess we'll find out.
She just went back to the border, because it's like...
Well, Easy and Angel, oh no, they brought her across, but she had a car.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't show where she was at. We didn't see her at all this last episode, did we?
No, we didn't.
And clearly, if Felipe... Yeah, and we see Felipe goes to go meet up with the priest.
Mm-hmm.
Basically be like, she's coming for you, so watch out.
Yeah, I know the shit you did. I'm not here to kill you, but she coming.
Yeah, because he was like, I wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have sold you out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I still respect that friendship, so I'm not going to kill you. But I'm not going to stop her from killing you either.
Yeah, for sure. So now that we've inadvertently gone into episode 8, which was not the plan.
Oh, sorry. I thought this was all the same episode. I thought this was this episode.
This episode we just watched, like...
Yeah, that happened at the beginning of the episode.
On 7?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we just, like, kind of teetered into episode 8. Well, we're going to stop here for now in our minds roundup. Next week, or the week after next, then we should be coming back with... We'll have episode 8, episode 9... which is what we'll talk about on the next episode of There Will Be Spoilers. So
okay, I see what I did there. You guys got a little sneak peek.
On to the next, which is American Horror Story. So, man. So we get a whole lot of Michael's. We get all of Michael's backstory, finally. So we figured this out.
These last few episodes have all been in flashback form, basically.
Yes.
They're all flashbacks.
So... We see we see what happened at the horror house after Ben and Olivia died, and everyone else kind of kept moving in. Like, how is this house still, like, there? Like, I don't...
My thing is, I thought at the end of... No, she didn't buy the house. I thought Constance had bought the house after the Harmons had died. But yeah, how is this house still on the market?
And how, if Constance... No, she had to have bought the house, because if she didn't buy the house, how the fuck was she raising Michael in it?
She wasn't raising Michael in it. When she had him as a baby, they were next door still.
Okay. So that means all the stuff that happened... Because at the end of Murder House, we see a family move in there. We see that Spanish family move in there.
Mm-hmm. The end of season 1, they moved in. I feel like after that, they just no one bought the house. No one was living in the house. Because, like, then in that episode, you see that the lesbian couple move in. That Michael ends up, like, taking out.
Yeah, so it's like his little ass was still running over. Well, okay, at this point, Constance died. So I guess he just wasn't. So now you got these two houses sitting next door to each other. You've got a kid just hanging out in between the both of them. Where the fuck is Child Protective Services?
The thing is, nobody knew Michael existed. Nobody knew he existed because at the end of season 1, she took that baby and she hid him because they knew the one baby died. No, my thing is, no one really knew what happened to this family.
No one knew what happened to this family. No one knew what happened to Constance. Who's delivering the mail? The mail's just piling up at this point. Like, how does the mailman not left a note and reported this shit? Because I check my mailbox for a week and there's a note from the mailman. You gonna get this shit or not?
And the thing is, if Michael was in school, how was nobody noticing this kid didn't show up for school? Because when she was like, he was late for school that day and then he aged 10 years. What?
Homeschooling is not as regulated as people would think. Like, literally, you can pull your kid out of school and say, I'm homeschooling them. And there's really no follow-up unless someone reports something. It seems out of the ordinary. But it's amazing. So I guess it really probably wasn't really that big of a time lapse. We're assuming there's been years, but you're right, Michael did rapidly age. So it really ain't been years between the time the Harmons died.
Well, okay, so at first he aged, because he was we'll say he was 6 when he was little, because he was aging normally. Because it surprised her when he jumped 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'll put him at 16, 17. Because he's still pretty young.
Okay, so for at least 6 years, this kid was out there and existed. And then overnight he grew.
So you don't start school until 5, we're going to say.
Okay, so maybe he was never in the school system.
Yeah.
But when he aged, then what the fuck?
I think she was just chilling at that point because I'm not going to make him go to school.
Ryan Murphy, I need answers. There's a huge gap here. But I love how we're focusing on this, where his school records are at. The more important fucking thing is Satan's child is running the fuck around. School records be damned.
Being raised by ghosts.
Yeah.
Now we need to talk California school systems.
Yo, for real. So we learned that Ben was taking care of him and trying to play dad to him, and that failed. And then you got the Church of Satan just shows up one day and takes him under his wing, still in the house, mind you.
Yeah, my thing with this season has been not that these things are cheesy, but it's kind of just what? When it's what did they say? They're a flock of crows encircled the house.
No one noticed?
Yeah. Excuse me? Do they not have neighbors? Clearly there's a neighborhood. No one just saw this house and was like, whoa, all those crows are just chilling.
Yeah. So my thing is, you think if the Church of Satan noticed this, how the fuck did the Catholic Church not know what was going on? Where was they at?
Yeah, because even the Czech Catholic Church saw Damien.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that came to their attention really quick, but so we're just gonna assume no one noticed any of the oddities going around this time, except for the Church of Satan.
They did have a nice little Omen tie-in though, when they were sacrificing that girl, and she's like, "It's all for you, Michael."
Yeah,
it's all for you.
Yeah, I caught that too. I was like, I see what y'all did there. Ode to the OG. I like it. And then also when Olivia tried to creep in his bedroom and he was asleep and he had that 666 behind his ear. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, we're going to keep this thread going. I'm okay with it. So I have to say this season has been touted as the crossover between Coven and Murder House. But to me, it's more Coven than Murder House.
Yeah, definitely.
Which Coven was my favorite season anyway, so I am totally okay with it. Because I feel like we're not going back to the Murder House anymore. I don't think we're going to see any more Murder House at this point.
Yeah, once it gets out of those flashbacks, I don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's his origins, I think that was really it. The only tie-in is that he's that baby that survived from Murder House.
Yes. And... oh, wait. No, I take that back. Because in Coven, they were in that house. Weren't they?
No, they weren't. Coven took place in Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Disregard that then. So, yeah, our trip down Murder House memory lane is over. It was nice to see everyone from that cast brought back. There was all that going back and forth about whether or not Jessica Lange would appear, and she did. So it was.
She did, sadly, only for one episode.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the end. And the way she went out on her own terms. Like that's. She's like, yeah, no, I'm not letting this
little boy.
Yeah,
take me out.
She's like, I've let no man run over me. I'm not about to let his ass do it now. And she ended it on her own terms. So, I was also happy that the maid.
Yeah,
Moira got freed from the house.
I liked what they're doing with Madison Montgomery this season.
This is the redemption of Madison.
Yeah. Like, she said, I've died twice, and I've come back each time. So now I'm about to do it right.
You know what? She did tell Michael when he brought her back that, like, I will be good this time. And he was just like, why would you want to do that? She's actually living up to that. She's like, no, I'm going to be good, and I'm going to do good things. She's out here being Glinda the Good Witch. So...
Honestly, that's I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that. Like, some recall that like Wicked or something like that. Because she helped Moira. She helped Tate.
Yeah.
That might be it, but honestly...
I mean, those two things that's two huge things that were very un-Madison Montgomery-like in this episode. And it was nice to see her do it. So, I was okay with it. I was here for it. You know, she got out of her hell. But we get to see the Coven is back together. So, the Coven is all together now. And they let Michael do his little, test to be supreme. But, yeah, obviously...
Now they know that he's the Antichrist.
Yeah, so I wonder, like, how was that? Because after Cordelia became the Supreme, well, her mom was already dead, wasn't she?
Nah, she was dying. Yeah, she was dying because she had cancer, and they were trying to figure out who the Supreme was.
Ah, okay. So, because my thing was like, okay, well, Cordelia clearly ain't dead yet. So, and she ain't gone, and clearly it seems like her powers are weakening, though. So, if he is more so the son of Satan, not even really a warlock, then can he really even become supreme?
That's what I think it is too, because it's like, I don't know if it's because like what we've seen so far of her getting weaker has just been that one time she fainted when he brought back Queenie and Madison.
Yeah, and I think that was just fucking shock.
Yeah, I think that was shock and like his evil power that she was feeling more than her powers draining.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's a twist that we're gonna go with.
Because it's like, is he even a warlock?
No, he's
just the son of Satan.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting once they make their way back to the Coven, for sure.
I think this next episode that we're getting tonight is going to be the last flashback episode that we have, and then it's going to go back post-apocalypse.
That's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see how we will, how we're going to get that back, into the... Well, you mean like one more full... It'll probably be like one more full flashback episode and then back apocalyptic. Which... we do need to see how...
It hasn't tied to how the world blew up yet.
Yeah, how the world blew up and how... I mean, we've gotten glimpses of some of the people who are in here after the apocalypse, but like exactly who they all are and how they got there or how they were chosen. Because the people who were there were chosen and made it there for... There's got to be some tie-in. Because I don't really want this season to be like all this greatness of Coven and Murder House, and then we just fucking drop the ball and it just makes no fucking sense at the end. I would be sad.
Like, there's no apocalypse. Like, this could have just been Coven Part 2.
Yeah. Which I honestly almost feel like I really don't want to say it out loud, but I kind of feel like this is kind of where it's going. Like, does it really need to be the apocalypse, or could we just done Coven 2? Because are we going to undo the apocalypse or the death of Michael? Like, we killing Michael at the end of this? Or is this just going to be... Or is it going to be Apocalypse Season 2? Like...
Cordelia's going to find the time stone.
That's how Thanos got...
be the wizards.
Oh, yeah. That's really what happened. Everybody's going to turn to dust. And yeah, so next season, what's going to happen is going to be a rewind. However they undid fucking Thanos. Just undo the end of American Horror Story as well. It'll be a tie-in. So, I would love to see bloopers from this, because it has to be, to keep all these fucking lines and characters like in order, especially Sarah Paulson, because Sarah Paulson has played what, three characters this season alone.
This season.
Like, I understand she's probably like the consummate professional, but at some point she's had to like slipped into like a different character by accident. Like,
I want to say this is the most characters that she's done
in one season. Yeah.
Usually her max is like 2. Like, they'll have her and somebody else. But then, no. This has been 3.
Yeah.
She deserves all the awards that she's been getting.
I do.
She's phenomenal.
I agree. I like her a lot. So, yeah. So, that's where we're at on American Horror Story. Now, like our last episode, after we discussed Mayans and American Horror Story. So, okay. So, other than Mayans and American Horror Story, what else you watching?
Trying to catch up on Grey's. That's about it. I'm trying to get back into watching TV, so I'm trying to catch up on Grey's.
Okay, so you're catching up on Grey's. I'm caught up on Grey's. Some other great shows that I highly recommend watching for people out there if you're trying to find something to watch, if you have the time and if you're looking for something. 911 is an amazing show on Fox. The Gifted is an amazing show. This Is Us, A Million Little Things. The Walking Dead's come back. I have not watched any of those first 3 episodes. I'm now 3 weeks behind on The Walking Dead. What else is out there?
I will throw out Big Mouth Season 2 is out. And honestly, I love that show. It's hilarious. I think it's funny. So you should also check that one out.
Okay.
That's Nichole.
What does that? That comes on Netflix, doesn't it?
Netflix. Yeah, okay. It's a Netflix original.
Okay.
And they just dropped Season 2.
So that actually segs into, we like to wrap these podcasts up with a Netflix. And it's not necessarily just Netflix. It could be Hulu or something that we find somewhere else. But last week it was a Netflix, the last episode it was a Netflix series or movie. This week it's also a Netflix movie series. If you have not watched The Haunting of Hill House, stop watching every fucking thing else. Stop watching Daredevil. Stop watching.
That was a reach.
Yeah. People are watching Daredevil season 3, and I heard it's going pretty well, although I have not started it yet. Stop what you're doing and go watch The Haunting of Hill House. It's October. Scary movies are here. This series is absolutely fucking amazing.
It's phenomenal.
There's nothing else to say about it. Like, it's fucking great.
I would even dare to call it a refreshment to the horror genre. As in, like, the horror TV show genre. Because I feel like horror TV shows are one of the hardest things to do, is to have, like, a continuing story that doesn't get cheesy and it keeps your viewers' attention. Yeah. And this show definitely did all of those things.
Yeah, because I watched it in a way I've never done Netflix series before. Like, I didn't know, once I hit play, I didn't know how many episodes there were. And I didn't want to know, because each episode I'm like, okay, where are we at? I didn't know where we were at in the story. And I kind of like doing it that way, which I might do with other Netflix series that I watch, is not knowing how many episodes and not knowing what episode I'm on, which is easy to do if you have a day off and you're binge watching some shit. I guess normal people probably need to know what episode they're on, because they probably have to stop,
proper time management,
eat, go to work, things like that. But so this was a bingeable series, although I think we spread it out over like 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, because it's like usually we're watching it pretty late at night. So
yes, it is. If you can watch it at night, watch it at night. It deserves to be enjoyed in the dark. It is the story of this family that moves into this house that is clearly fucking haunted, and supernatural things start going on. Weird shit starts happening. This one we're actually not going to spoil. We're not going to spoil this.
Watch it.
Watch it. Please watch it. Like, it deserves to be watched and enjoyed. We'll spoil it next episode, because maybe by then even more people
will have seen it.
Yeah, so this one we actually will not spoil. We will just highly recommend. It is very well cast. I like the cast. It's an ensemble.
Very well cast.
Some familiar faces in there as well. that we've seen. If everyone's seen Twilight, at least one of them.
If you watch Gerald's Game, which is also a pretty good movie on Netflix, the main character, I forgot her name, but the main woman that's tied to the bed in Gerald's Game, she plays their mom, pretty leading character in this series. She does a phenomenal job as well. I'd have to say that this is, like, I don't have one of those shows that I would yearly rewatch, like, you know how you have The Wire, Sons of Anarchy, and I feel like this would be that show for me. Like, this is one of those shows that you can just rewatch.
Carla Gugino? God, I feel like I butchered her last name. She's been in a ton of stuff. She plays their mom. You have Elizabeth Reiser, who everyone, most people will probably remember from Twilight. She was also on Grey's Anatomy. Henry Thomas, the little boy from E.T., who's a grown-ass man now, plays the younger version of their dad. You've got... there weren't too many other, like, Oliver Jackson Cohen. What has he been in? I'm not really familiar with anything else that he's been in. Yeah, nope. But he did an absolute amazing job in this movie. So definitely check it out. Watch it on Netflix. Let us know what you think about it after you do. Oh, and there's going to be a season 2. They are hinting at a season 2. So there's not too often that you get a good horror series or good horror film, and there is the prospect for a solid second season. And this is getting a second season, which...
I don't know how I feel about that.
Why?
I feel like this is one of those shows where they had their first season, and it should have just been one of those shows with just one season. They had one story to tell. I don't want this to be one of those shows where it's like they have a season 2, it's like they try to change it, and it's just not as good, and it ruins the experience as a whole.
Okay, so here's my thing about this house. You have a house that is haunted. It's similar to American Horror Story, though. Like, at some point, someone else is going to move into this house. Like, this family that's in their care right now is going to die at some point. This house is going to pass on to the state. The state's going to sell it. Either sell it or condemn it and knock it down. It's not going to get knocked down. Someone else has got to have to move in there at some point.
Michael Huseman is from Game of Thrones.
Let me see.
Side note.
Who did he play for Game of Thrones?
Now that I just said that, he looks really familiar. I feel like he played some kind of soldier.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. No, you know who he was?
Who?
Dario Naharis. He was the replacement Dario.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And he was in Age of Adeline. He
played the main love interest.
Yes, he did. Okay. So, yeah, it's got a good cast. You know, it's always nice when actors are like chameleons, to where they play a role, they leave that role, and you don't see that role in something else. Like, I like that. Like, people, I guess, there are probably people who have been typecast in certain things, so when you look at me, you see them in a movie,
Emma
like...
Roberts.
No. What is
Nancy
she?
Drew.
She ain't Nancy Drew no more. She's Madison Montgomery now. You see Nancy Drew when you watch American Horror Story?
I see her character in Scream Queens. I think
that's similar, though.
Chanel number 1.
That's a similar... That's playing a similar part. That's I guess why actors prefer to like try to branch out and do such varied roles, so they don't get typecast and so that you don't see them as Dario Naharis, because I didn't realize he was Dario, but whatevs. So, yeah, I guess that's it for this episode of There Will Be Spoilers. We spoiled some shit. Hey. So, if you want to support this podcast, which we appreciate the support, so please support the podcast. Ways that you can support us. If you're listening to this on iTunes, those stars at the bottom, when you scroll down, click some of them. Preferably all 5 of them. Then leave a message. Even if it's a, hey, great job. Good job. Nice job. Liked it. Whatevs. Share this podcast. We are on Instagram at houseofblurds.com. We are
Twitter.
on Twitter at houseofblurds.com. Facebook at houseofblurds.com. Follow us on one of those 3 platforms. Everyone who's listening to this is on one of those 3 platforms. Follow us and share, because sharing it will tell someone else. Everyone has some nerd friends who are doing some nerd shit, and or friends who appreciate good television or binge watch things. Yeah, so if you like it, share it with a friend. And then you know what? Then that will branch off into you guys having conversations like, what the fuck were they talking about? And or let us know what you think about these shows. So add us on Twitter. That's, you're always going to get us on Twitter. At houseofblurds.com. Instagram, you can leave us comments, messages, jump in the conversation on the Instagram post as well. And on, again, Facebook at House of Blurds on Facebook. Other ways, there is a link to our Patreon on our website. We have a whole ass website, houseofblurds.com. That will get you to everything. So you can go there as well. You can click on the links to articles that we've printed there. We have links to our Twitter, our Instagram, and the Facebook. There's a link to our Patreon. You can donate. You can drop as little as $1 a month. If you want to do a monthly donation, there is a link to our PayPal if you just want to make a one-time. Any donations and comments that you leave in Patreon or PayPal, we're going to read them on one of the podcast shows. So if you, make a donation and you mention there will be spoilers or house words, we're going to read it on that respective podcast show. So yeah, just, biggest thing is share and tell a friend. Retweet. We retweet these things out. We, try to get them out there. But share, tell a friend, and then just make sure you come back and listen to our next episode. So, on that note, thanks for listening. Be good to each other and take care of yourself.